that if we had dealt with 9/11 the same way that we dealt with Oklahoma City, okay, there's apparently 19 criminals who are responsible for this, and perhaps people affiliated with them. We are going to use the FBI, the CIA, Interpol, international police agencies. We're going to find out who they are. We're going to find out who's backing them up, and we're going to arrest them. That's what we did with Oklahoma City. That's what the Norwegians did with Anders Breivik. And this is what we need to be. This is what we should have been doing on 9/11. But instead, George W. Bush, when he first, a year before he was even running for office, he was saying he wanted to invade Iraq. 6 months before 9/11, Dick Cheney had an energy task force meeting in the White House with a bunch of oil industry executives where they literally divided up the oil fields in Iraq, and decided what companies and what countries they were going to sell them to. By the way, China got the first big new oil field in Iraq. They are now pumping oil out of Iraq. The first new oil field to go live in 20 years. We are, of course, providing the military support for that. So Norway is passing the terrorism test so far. So far, the Prime Minister of Norway came out and gave a speech, and he said the answer to this is more democracy and a more open society. Those are the exact words he used in Norwegian. George Bush said the response to this is to close down our society, to shut down our society, to create a national security state, to be afraid, be very afraid, and to hand over as much power as possible to corporations. And if you as a citizen are going to do anything, it's not to reach out to your neighbors. It's not to pray for forgiveness for these people, which is the thing that every world's religion calls for. It's not to find in our hearts and souls what might have what behaviors might have led other people to hate us so much that they would do this, or for that matter, to even look at our history. Bin Laden was pretty clear about it. It was the U.S. Air Force base in Saudi Arabia that Herbert Walker Bush put there when he told Saddam Hussein, yeah, go ahead, invade Kuwait, through his envoy April Gillespie. And then when Saddam Hussein invaded, hey, we can have a 100-hour war, and I'll get he really spiked him in the opinion polls. As his son pointed out, he should have stretched that war out for at least a few months, at least until the election. He would have gotten reelected. And it's actually probably true. If Herbert Walker Bush had stretched out the first Gulf War until the elections, in all probability, he would have beat Bill Clinton. But he didn't. It only lasted 3 days. Because, regardless of what you think of Herbert Walker Bush, and I think that the guy is a war criminal and a criminal in many regards in the United States, I don't think he's a sociopath the way his son was. He wasn't willing to extend the killing. He was horrified by the killing. Bomber pilot during World War II. He had seen killing. He had participated in killing. And I'm guessing he probably had some feelings about it that his son didn't have. So anyhow, Norway is passing the test. But what is it that animated this guy? What caused this Norwegian terrorist to go off the deep end? I would submit to you that there is an absolute correlation between what John Boehner did last night on television, which is lie to the American people for political gain and turn the president into an enemy for the purpose of political gain, because that's what he did.